Hey everybody, how are you doing? It's me, yours truly, Meredith Yuen with Be You, handcrafted by God. What is going on? I'm thinking a lot lately about value and how do we add value and what does that look like when someone values us. I love what John Maxwell says. He says that if he met you or you meet somebody, it wouldn't take long to see value, and when you understand someone's value, then you want to add value to their life. Isn't that so true? I kind of paraphrased it, but he said it somewhat in that fashion. But I believe it. Showing people that you value them. It's about expressing love and respect and appreciation in ways that affirm their worth and dignity to you, right? I want to tell you about some ways that demonstrate in a practical aspect how you can value others, right? I think I have about maybe 10 or so points, but one is listen actively. To be present, give them the full attention. Have you ever met somebody that you're talking to and all of a sudden you feel like they've kind of drifted somewhere else and you feel like you're just talking to the air? Or what about those that listen with the intent to just respond, but they're not really actively giving their full attention, but they just want to listen to respond? But to value somebody, you're going to listen actively. You're going to make them feel heard and understood, right? And avoid distractions, picking up your phone, texting while you're speaking, or texting while someone's speaking to you, right? Showing empathy. James 1:19, reflect back what they're saying and acknowledge their feelings, showing that you care about them and what matters to them. Express your appreciation. If someone does a great job, regularly express your gratitude for their efforts. Or not even so much about great job, even the simplest little tasks around your house. My husband and I constantly show appreciation and thankfulness. Thank you for taking out the garbage, and thank you for doing something like this, and I appreciate your efforts on that. They really do make an impact. Appreciating by writing a note or a message, and kind of surprising them, maybe around the house or something, a simple text, something that you could do to add that personal touch. Being available, investing your time, prioritizing spending time with them, whether it's through shared activities, meals, or even just a simple conversation. Time is one of the most valuable things that you can offer. I just was away for a couple days with a couple of my friends, and one of them is actually a new friend where I met the previous week, and that was we were actually sitting by it was in the evening. We were just sitting out by a fire, and she just said, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for time and investing your time in this space that we're in right now. It was so appreciative. We just sat and connected and kind of sang around the fireplace, the fire pit there, sang some old hymns, celebrating milestones, being there for, big and small moments, birthdays, anniversaries, achievements, those types of things. Serving them through acts of kindness, showing love, serving in tangible ways, offering help, lending a hand when needed, meeting a practical need if that's within your ability to do that. Small acts of kindness, making them coffee or helping them with a task, that you showing that you care, going that extra mile above and beyond, supporting them in their time of need really can make a lasting impact. One of the ways you value people is also to respect their boundaries, respect their opinion, honor their choices. I had to express here recently, somebody had given my phone number out to somebody that really needed some guidance, and it wasn't with my approval prior. and it bothered me. And I honestly, with kindness, of course, expressed my how it bothered me and my boundaries, and communicated that next time that happens, please give me a heads up first, right? And it is okay to communicate those boundaries and those choices. People honor that and people respect that. How will they know that if you don't communicate? Of course, you don't have to be rude about it, but make sure that you respect that and communicate that. And when they honor that, they show that they value that, right? Avoiding judgment. Gosh, why would you get so irritated over a simple phone call? Because it's my phone number and I don't want to give it out. So if somebody judges you or gets critical about it, or belittles you, that might be something that you want to take a look at to maybe make some adjustments in that relationship, right? Uplift people, encourage them, in their personal or professional lives. Be their cheerleader. When they're challenged or maybe dealing with some self-doubt, be their number one fan, support them, cheer them on. I was telling a group of ladies that I ministered to recently, there's room for everyone at the table. And, sometimes we have to go through these processes in our mind that, not everybody is truly solid in who they are, no matter what age bracket they are. And, it takes a good support team to show that value and encourage, speak the truth in love. Value in people means to be honest, even when the truth is difficult to hear. But it should be done with kindness and care, and the care for their well-being and what their future will look like. Because, when you do that and show that transparency, it lets them know, like, hey, if you don't make these adjustments, things could happen. And in essence too, not judging them if they don't take that, truth that you're giving them, and doing that, it shows them that you could, they could trust you and rely on you, for being consistent, within your actions as well, showing empathy and compassion, walking them through their struggles. That shows value, acknowledging their uniqueness. Isn't that something, right? Celebrating the gifts, recognize and affirm their unique talents, abilities, and qualities, and help them to see the value that they bring to others. Every single one of us matters. Every single one of us matters. There's not anyone higher than anyone else. We all have a unique purpose in this world, and every single one of us matters, right? Be patient and forgiving with one another, showing grace. That shows value. Everyone makes mistakes. We value people. It means that we're extending grace. We're extending our patience with their growth and forgiving when needed. Being slow to anger, avoid jumping to conclusions, and reacting harshly in the tense moments, show that gentle understanding, and grace. Valuing people means love and respect and appreciation in words and actions. Somebody can say all kinds of stuff to you, but when their actions don't light up, what is that really telling you, right? Prioritize someone else's well-being, to invest in their growth, help them, showing that kindness and grace. And it really does truly make us value one another. Let's take a look really quick about what happens when you devalue someone. Devaluing someone occurs when actions or attitudes diminish in a person's sense of worth, even, right? Or dignity. They could be unintentional or deliberate, or it can have a significant impact on a person's self-esteem and relationships. A constant belittling of some sort, making funny, what seems to be funny jokes, and I'm just joking, but those are really belittling, trying to poke at someone, and then flip it as though you're taking it personal, but really they meant something derogatory by it, right? Constantly ignoring someone or dismissing them, failing to listen, giving that lack of attention. It's kind of flip of what I said when we value people. If we do that opposite, obviously, criticizing or judging harshly, constant criticism. I often talk about how the Bible talks about, wives that nag. It's like a sound of a dripping faucet. Who wants to live with something that's a constant nag, or who wants to work around someone constant nagging, or be a part of a circle of people where you're like, oh my goodness, it's going to be interesting being around this person because they're always nagging or critical, right? Humiliating someone, making hurtful jokes, taking someone for granted, not acknowledging efforts, failing to appreciate or recognize the contributions, can make feel someone undervalued. I heard something earlier today where, this manager would constantly recognize his employees' efforts, but not only just that, he would check in and really see, how are you doing? Making that time, to really stop and check in with someone. Let them know they're seen. Don't just be so quick passing by, that you don't even see these people. Or if you're one on the flip side too, constantly pointing out what they're doing wrong. They're just going to kind of keep their head down and do what they have to do so they can get out of there, right? That's that negative space, taking them for granted, like I was saying, excluding or isolating them, right? Constantly leaving them out, whether it's social settings, decision making, or conversations. Have you ever been around people that's in a group setting and they're speaking about a previous situation or gathering or whatnot that they were at, and you weren't a part of that gathering, and they're constantly leaving you out? That's not going to make you want to be around those people anymore, right? That is something that I actually am super mindful about, especially if I'm with about 3 people, right? And 2 of you have had relationship for some time. That's kind of how my recent situation was. My friend and I had been friends for years, and the person that I just met was new. So we, made an effort and a conscious effort to bring her back into the situation and kind of fill her in as to what we were really speaking about. Excluding somebody, it's hurtful. Cliquish behavior. Oh my goodness, I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Cliquish behavior, excluding someone, you're letting someone know that, they're not valued, being inconsistent and unreliable, breaking promises, flaking out, constantly canceling plans, or using someone for personal gain, taking advantage of them, right? When you only reach out to that person when you need somebody without really showing genuine interest or well-beings. On the flip side of boundaries, disrespecting someone's boundaries, ignoring their limits, being controlling, refusing to forgive, disregarding someone's feelings or opinions. At some point, whether you're in a relationship, an organization, a business, a church, a social group of people, if your voice doesn't matter and you're really constantly invalidating someone's emotions, telling someone they're overacting, or constantly telling them to minimize their emotions, that can really make them feel like their feelings aren't valid or important, right? Or if, the scripture says, he that has an ear to hear, let him hear. Sometimes God will send you into spaces and places and you have years of experience, but if your opinion, and I am certainly not saying, come in, with this egotistical space, like I got all the answers, no, but you're wanting to be a part of a team or these types of things. But if it's a constant that, you just do how we do it, we're not going to change it, this is how it is, this is how it always been, at some point you're going to kind of go, okay, well, I'm not needed here, I'm not valued here, so what am I doing? especially at this stage of my life, I'm like, I'm at the half stage of my life here, man. I don't want to waste time. People constantly being compared to other people, the silent treatment if you don't do what someone else wants you to do. How is that valuing somebody? Woo-wee. That's not going to work. Devaluing somebody, it could come in subtle forms, like I said, from ignoring someone's feelings or just that outright disrespect or criticism. But I want to challenge us to really take a look at how we treat people, because, man, how we treat people matter. I posted something on my social media earlier today that we often put so much value on the gifts of individuals that we don't take a look at the fruit of how they're really treating people. Are they loving? Are they kind? Are they one of self-control? Because there is so much going on nowadays. How we really treat people, it matters. It matters that we're mindful of our words. It matters, that we're, not so fast-paced that we don't even see that person next to us, because we're on task. We're on task. We got to be on task, Let's not rush so fast that we are missing moments by trying to just do the things that we need to do, right? Task driven. Don't be so task driven that you don't recognize what's around you, how beautiful the flowers are, taking a moment to recognize somebody that might need something in that moment, pay attention, be mindful of words, be mindful of actions. Be mindful of attitudes, striving to treat everyone, no matter who you are. Treat everyone with dignity and respect, and a love that reflects their God-given worth. Like I said, Ephesians 4:32 reference here. Everybody was created on purpose, with a purpose. And we really need to value one another in greater measures, okay? Those are my little nuggets and little gems for you to put in your tool belt. Take a listen, chew on them, digest them, maybe do some further research. Take a look in your heart and don't miss moments to value people, because if you constantly devalue and dismiss, you may find that those people are just going to pass on through and not be a part of your life anymore. So, anyhow, that's kind of heavy, that last comment, right? But I hope you enjoyed this. Share it, and we will catch you on the next round of Be You, handcrafted by God, okay? Talk to you later. Bye for now.